Hello and welcome back to the channel everyone. Hope you all are well and you're having a nice game week 12. I'm back with another video, and in this one I'll first run you through my team selection for game week 13. Then we'll look at a wildcard draft, as a lot of you are about to use your wildcard for this game week. And this was a blank game week and most of you saved it till game week 13, and now most of you are about to use your wildcard. So yeah, we'll look at the wildcard draft. So if you're new here, please do subscribe to the channel, and I'm going to share a lot of fantasy content, weekly fantasy content about UCL fantasy. There will be World Cup fantasy I cover and FPL that I usually cover. So yeah, without further ado, let's just look at the team selection for game week 13. So starting with Guetta in goal, that is the goalkeeper I have, and he's been consistently giving me 3 points since the time I've picked him up. He did return me one clean sheet too, and that is somewhat an advantage of keeping busy keeper at the back. So the times when he's not up for a clean sheet, he might just return you some save points, and that is what Guetta has been doing for me. So Everton, obviously not an easy fixture. Now Everton is obviously a balanced side than they used to be, or probably they were during the start of the season. I do rate them as a better side than they were during the start of the season. So there is a chance that he might end up losing a clean sheet. Probably a Iwobi stunner or someone like Gray might score. But this is what Everton brings to the game under Frank Lampard, unpredictability in their current form. So I do think that he might end up losing the clean sheet, but I prefer if he just makes a lot of saves and he's busy at the back and return me a 3 or 4 points, and that would be enough for me from Guetta in this fixture. But still, things might be better for me, and he might return me a clean sheet too. So yeah, he faces Everton at away. Now we move on to the three defenders. I've got Trippier. Trippier, obviously, he's been a really great asset this season, and he has returned clean sheets when he wasn't expected to, and he has returned points when he wasn't expected to. With he's good with the free kicks, and he's good with with the set pieces. I talk about his set piece skills a lot, and I've been talking about set piece skills in a lot of my videos. So the reason is that if it is a difficult fixture, I might still just play Trippier, and the reason is obvious for his attacking returns. Now, Koulibaly is a move I made this week, not this week, the previous week than this one. So the reason for Koulibaly was that I wanted to cover the Chelsea defense. I've seen them evolving with their defense, and I do rate their defense now, and I do expect them to keep clean sheets in the upcoming fixtures. If they've got Man United at home, and Man United wasn't able to score against Newcastle's defense. So Koulibaly, he wasn't like a big rotation threat with with Fofana out, but he still was benched in the last game week, and he came on from the bench. But I do expect him to be their main centre back. That is obviously what I expect, and my prediction is that till Fofana is out, or probably he's playing all right. So this is one of the fixture where it's a 50-50 thing. He might keep return a clean sheet, or he might just blank with a 2-pointer. Similarly, we move on to Cancelo, our Man City wing back, who has had an awful game versus Liverpool. It was a blank in game week 12, and then he faces Brighton in game week 13. And now looking at Cancelo and talking about him, we know the attacking quality he possesses, and it was just a one bad game. I do still rate him, and I think that he's still nailed on in that side, and Brighton obviously are better defensive side than many oppositions they faced earlier, but still I think Man City is a tough side, and they just get past through low blocks or whatever defense. They struggled scoring against Liverpool. Liverpool was really really good in that game, but I do think that Brighton would be an easy game, and Cancelo is a nailed starter, and he might return a clean sheet in that fixture. Now we move on to the four midfielders, starting with Foden, who's going to be a big differential. A lot of people might move on for him, but he's going to be my differential in this one. And the reason is that a lot of people at KDB they switched to Salah, and I've got three City now with Foden in the midfield being a big differential in this one. So Brighton home, a good fixture for them, and it would be really I would be really thankful to him if he could just score a goal or return some attacking points. Now we move on to Zaha. Zaha was, I didn't watch the game versus Wolves. It was pretty late here at night, and due to work, I just slept, and I woke up to see Zaha scoring. Not gonna lie, it was pretty unexpected. I didn't expect him to score, but that is what Zaha brings. Zaha is an absolutely, talented winger. When he's got width, he's just gonna explode on the wings. He's pretty good with the cutting in, going wide with his crosses. He's really great on his day. And this Everton fixture is obviously another good one for a balanced Crystal Palace. And I do expect Zaha to return me some points. However, if I make a move in this midfield with Andreas, Martinelli, Zaha, Foden, and Almiron is obviously on the bench, and I brought him this week. I would sacrifice Zaha for Salah if I move for him if he scores. He's got a fixture today, Salah, and things would heavily rely upon his form versus West Ham. I do not currently own him, and I'm totally ready to get hurt by not making a move. But this I didn't wanted to rush with him, and probably I was right, probably I was wrong, and probably what if we could see Almiron masterclass today. So yeah, it all depends upon that. Now we move on to Martinelli, who's got Southampton away. Arsenal obviously on the top of the table. There's nothing I would like to add apart from they are an exceptional side under the new manager and Mikel Arteta obviously. And Martinelli has been his main man up ahead along with Jesus and Saka, and he's going to play all season. You don't have to be worried about Martinelli anytime. He's pretty cheap on set pieces, and he's going to return you some attacking points in intervals. So yeah, just be confident about having Martinelli, and obviously against Southampton, our defensively weak side. Then I've got Andreas bench Pereira. Every time you place him on the bench, he might just return you attacking points. That is what he brings to the table. But I would recommend you play him in a fixture against Leeds. Obviously, Leeds are defensively weak side, and that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go with 4 midfielders with Almiron on the bench and Andreas, my 4th midfielder, playing. Now, before I move on to the forwards, I've just got to mention that Dallo and Gohi are on the bench. I don't fancy their fixtures. Chelsea obviously not an attacking side, but I do, according to me, the probability of them scoring against United is more than United scoring against them. But obviously, tough sides, big sides, games are gonna be unpredictable. And with Everton, looking and getting slightly better, I wouldn't want to double up on Crystal Palace defense. Now we move on to the 3 forwards. I've got Haaland. Haaland obviously had a blank fixture. He blanked before this fixture too against Liverpool, but Brighton home, and I do expect him to get back in form. And Haaland is an absolute essential. And I've got Kane against Newcastle at home. Kane's longevity or retaining Kane would really depend upon this fixture and not Newcastle, the fixture against Man United. And if he scores a goal, obviously I've given him the armband. I would keep him. I wouldn't take him out for Salah if Salah blanks. If Salah explodes tonight, it is just going to be an easy move. I take out Kane. I'd go for someone like Tony and bring and take out Zaha and go for Salah with an absolute -4. No questions about that. But this week I'm still going to hold Kane, and the idea is to hold the transfer if Salah doesn't go big. Now we move on to Mitrovic. He's got the armband. He's got a fixture against Leeds. Mitrovic, he's looking pretty good after his injury. He was very vigilant and very aggressive versus Bournemouth too. So yeah, that is the reason I wouldn't want to sell Mitrovic. Ward stays on the bench. So this here is my team selection. I would go with 3-4-3. Obviously, my current rank is 171k, and it all depends upon the fixtures tonight, how the fixtures go on. And once they go on, the rank would change. I'll definitely share my final team. Also the points review on Twitter. So now this was our team selection. Now let's move on to the wildcard draft that I've prepared for you all wildcarding this week. Now this is what I've picked up for the wildcard draft that is visible on your screen. I've gone with Arrizabalaga. Potter said that he is the first choice keeper, and a keeper at 4.4 million who has been impressive and is keeping has kept a couple of clean sheets. And obviously, Chelsea getting better defensively under Potter. I would recommend you go for someone at his price. He might be benched in 1 or 2 games if the fixture run gets tough, but you've got Ward to cover that on the bench. So that is what the keeper choice would be. Of course, if you want to invest more, I've got 1 million in the bank. If you want to invest more, Guetta is there. The likes of Guetta or Pope are obviously there if you want to. But I would recommend, just go a little, less on the keepers, because clean sheets are obviously not guaranteed in every game. Now we move on to the defenders. I've got Trippier. Talked about a lot. His attacking returns, his defensive capabilities. So yeah, Trippier stays in at 5.6 million. Then I've gone for Gomez at 4.5 million. I personally think that he'd be nailed with Matip now probably out too. Matip's going to miss. Konate is not probably fully fit. So Gomez might, be starting at the back with Vendai and Trent Alexander-Arnold also a little bit under doubt. I would think at 4.5 million, Gomez was pretty nice, pretty good against Man City too. He kept Foden quiet in that game. So I would just go for someone at 4.5 million as a short term punt. Short term punt, you've got an NFO and Leeds, good games to give you clean sheet at 4.5 million. Obviously, I've got 1 million in the bank. If you want to upgrade Gomez and there's news that he's not nailed, or better than me that he's not nailed, he's obviously an upgrade. Then you've got Cancelo at 7.2 million. Now, the thing with Cancelo is that the attacking returns, that is obvious, and the defensive abilities, Man City, his capabilities, and their defensively good side, Man City's, Leicester, Fulham, Brentford, Brighton, all these fixtures, with eyes closed, I might say that the probability of Cancelo keeping a clean sheet is higher than most of the defenders that I have in my side. Then we look at Dunk. Obviously, he's got City and Chelsea, so I would recommend you keep him on the bench. But once these two fixtures are over, you've got Wolves and Aston Villa. So you just till game week 16 things are gonna go great, and then you've got the unlimited transfers thing after 16, or probably after 16 for the World Cup. So you might you want to reassess your things. So these are just gonna be the short term punts for till the time the World Cup starts. Now we move on to one more I didn't talk about is Guehi. Obviously, Crystal Palace might return you clean sheets in some of these games versus Southampton, Nottingham Forest. These easy fixtures are obviously good 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 fixtures to attack with cheap defenders for clean sheets. Guehi, obviously, when they keep clean sheets, is usually among the bonus points too, along with their keeper Guetta. So Guehi is a nailed on option at 4.3. I bought him for 4.3. He's probably now 4.4 or somewhere around that. Now we move on to the five defenders, five midfielders, not defenders. Sorry, my bad. I've got Salah at 12.7. Obviously, bought him. Got rid of James Madison from my midfield, and Almiron. If you talk about what my current team is, so looking at the side here with Salah being the main man back again. Salah is back in the midfield. He's got a fixture against NFO, then Leeds and Spurs. Obviously, Spurs is not a defensively better side. Then we've got Southampton. So if Salah goes big, these are obviously the fixtures you want to target. Go for him, pick him up in the wild card. Obviously, you don't have other options. KDB is a nice option, but he's not exploding the way we would expect Salah to explode. Now we move on to Zaha. I retained Zaha, and the reason is that Everton, Southampton, West Ham United, and Nottingham Forest are all the fixtures you might want to target with a midfielder. There are other options too if you want to go for with the likes of Saka. You just can upgrade Zaha to Saka whenever you want to, and are the likes of obviously Mason Mount from Chelsea. So these are some of the picks if you want to make an upgrade in the upcoming games. But with uh, Crystal Palace in a good form and good rhythm, Everton and Southampton are some of the fixtures you might want to target, and West Ham too probably, and obviously Nottingham Forest after that. But then the limited transfers will come in, so Zaha would be a short-term punt. If you want to punt on someone else, you've got like I talked about Mason Mount and the likes of uh, Saka coming in. Then we've got Foden. I've retained him, and the reason is that the good fixtures they have. Foden is linking up pretty well with Haaland and 8.2. I think he's a better option than many other midfielders, a slightly consistent option than the others. Then Andreas 4.6 million, he's a good bench filler and is obviously among the attacking returns when you bench him. Then we look at Martinelli at 6.5 million, and the same reasons I talked about previously in the team selection. Martinelli stays in at 6.5 million. The set pieces, the attacking threat he brings in, and the Arsenal attack covers he provide. Then we move on to the three forwards. I've got Haaland first. He's an absolute hold for the rest of the season at 12 million. Then I've got Mitrovic, who's going to attack Leeds. He's going to attack Everton. Then do two tough fixtures. So you might just want to play him out along with the bench. You've got better options on the bench too. Like Martinelli might come in if you want to target a fixture from Arsenal. They've got obviously better fixtures. Dunk against Wolves in that, so you might just play him if you think Dunk might keep a clean sheet. Then obviously you've got the likes of Guehi coming in if you want to play that defense. So yeah, you can just move around with this squad. You've got good fixtures in it, and with the likes of players being on the bench that do play, you can just rotate out the tough fixtures with the players that you have. So this is how my wildcard would be if I was wildcarding. Obviously, I had wildcarded earlier, so I wouldn't be doing it. But for those who already have their wildcard this game week and they are intending to do it, I would recommend you go in with this draft. Obviously, I'll just upload it on the Twitter too if you guys want it. Just let me know in the comments below. And let me know if you're using your chip or you're gonna go with the two free transfers or one free transfer. You're gonna use the hit to bring in Salah, or you obviously already have Salah. So let me know what are your plans. And so this is it from my side for now. Thank you all for watching.